Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I would like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Innu, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. My name is Marla Billinghurst. I will be chairing the panel this morning. With me on the panel are Mr. Robert Hutchings and Mr. Bill Moretsky. The assessor for the city of Winnipeg is Mr. Matthew Harling, and our hearing secretary this morning is Mr. Jaswinder Kumar. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the city administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony, followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. And once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We will be hearing items 1 through 5 on our docket today. Mr. Kumar, please affirm the assessor and the applicant's testimony. Thank you. Excuse me.
Mr. Harling, please state your full name.
Matthew Harling.
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Applicant, please state your full name. Are you on mute?
Rocky Neufeld.
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Harling, please proceed when you are ready.
Thank you, Thank you, Madam Chair.
Did you just call me Mr.?
I apologize. So it's Monday morning. So yeah.
I must really look rough this.
No. Yeah, So sorry about that. But yeah, I believe we have a preliminary issue of a compliance issue. So
on the first matter?
Yeah, well, actually, they all have the same. So they actually all on the docket have that.
Okay, non-cooperative. Okay.
So would you like me to go through that first, I guess, then, or?
Yes, please.
Okay. So turning to page 13 of my brief.
Can you tell me which property we're dealing with?
1376 Winnipeg.
Oh, I'm sorry, 1376 Winnipeg.
And the file number?
The 223097. Continue, or should I?
Mr. Neufeld, did you find it?
Yeah, no, I got all that. I just.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All the files are electronic, so his files are labeled by file number, and mine are labeled by address. And
Fair enough. It was my fault. I didn't state the address. I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay, Mr. Harling, please go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, I'll just, so yeah, this is file number 223097, 1376 Winnipeg Avenue. So yeah, as I said, there's just a preliminary issue here we have with non-compliance. So if we go to page 13 of my brief, you'll just see the blank mailer we have here. This would be the certified mailer we sent out. We will send out an initial mailer in on April 15, 2021, which will have a due date of May 6th. And then when we don't receive that back, we'll actually send out a certified mailer, which was sent out on June 9th with a due date of June 30th. So here's the blank mailer just on page 13. We have the mailing address is 620 King Edward Street. That's the mailing address we have on file that we send all the documents to. So just page 14, 15, these are just the blank mailer, which as well as included on page 16. And then pages 17 of my brief, this is the actual signature that we received from Canada Post when we sent out the certified mailer. So this is the evidence that we have that we received. So this is just basically the non-compliance information we have. So let the board make their decision on that. So.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Neufeld?
yeah, I'm just looking at page 17.
So do you have any questions for the assessor?
Yes, I do. I'm wanting for questions. On page 17, it says the name is Daniel Stefanovsky. I know people signatures aren't always clear, but that doesn't look remotely like a Daniel Stefanovsky signature. It looks like something ending in, I don't know, FOR.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. This is what we received from Canada Post. So unfortunately, you're right. I can't, this is what when we send it to them, this is what they send us back. So yeah, I can't speak to the exact signature, unfortunately, no. So.
Okay. And the other question I had is, were there, are you aware of the number of certified mails that went out this year? Was it higher or lower than average?
Like properties in general or the total properties?
Well, the ones that didn't respond to the first letter, you sent out a registered letter. And I'm just wondering if this year had a higher than typical count of certified mails being sent out.
To be honest, unfortunately, I'm not entirely sure of that, unfortunately. Because yeah, unfortunately, I apologize. I don't have the answer for that. So.
Okay, that was my question. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Hutchings. Any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Moretsky?
Yeah, just one on page 17, the signatory name, Daniel Stefanovsky. Would that have been a person at that address? Name of a person at that address? 620
yeah, like I said, all I can state is unfortunately we send it to the mailing address we have on file, which happens to be 620 King Edward. So where we send it there, like I said, I can't I don't know this person specifically or whatever, but yeah, that's we just sent to that address, and obviously somebody there would sign for it, we'd assume. So, but that's all the information I have, unfortunately.
Okay, so that's Canada Post then that entered that name on that particular line.
Yeah, correct. They would send it the certified mailer, and then the individual who signed for it would put their signature in there. Correct.
But they're supposed to. They're supposed to be from that address, right? Somebody received that.
Yeah, that's the typical what it should be. Yes.
Okay, that's the only question I had. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. I have no questions. So, Mr. Neufeld?
Thank you. This property and I think 3 others today are owned by the same individuals, and the other ones being I've forgotten which ones we've been through here today, but the company's Computers CD Plus, and the family that own them are Tony and Debbie Batista and their 2 sons. So I asked them if they'd received anything, and they said no, and they would be the ones who would be the signatories on anything that came in. And the other thing I have to say is that this business was closed during that time period, and as we're all aware, that there were numerous closures during COVID. The actual dates of their closures followed the closures for provincial orders. Sorry, I had it right in front of me here, and I was just going to give you those dates of closures. I don't know where I saved it here. I was just reading it earlier today. I believe it was May 1st of 2021 was the third wave order closure, which wasn't lifted until July 12th of 21. So they were closed at the time. Their address, we do not deny that the address for service was on at 620 King Edward, but that's as much as we know about it. That signature doesn't match, and they tell me they never received it.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Harling, do you have any questions for Mr. Neufeld?
So I was just curious, the one that where you said it was closed, were we talking about the address at 620 King Edward Street, or the, I'm assuming, because that's where it was sent, correct?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
620 King Edward is their computer shop.
Okay.
So they were closed during that time.
Okay. Those are
So that's why we're a little, I guess that's what happened. So, and there's the others today. I've forgotten which ones are also theirs. So we don't need to repeat ourselves, but that's what the story was.
Okay. No, that's all the questions I have then. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hutchings, any questions?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Neufeld, would you know that if that Daniel Stefanovsky is the office manager, perhaps? That would
No, Debbie Batista is the office manager.
So, but the city is saying that that's the name for receipt of documents from the city of Winnipeg?
I don't know who this person is. I only know the Batistas. It's a family operation. So Debbie's there and runs is the office manager. Tony is like general manager, and Remington and keep forgetting the brother's name. They work up front. So I don't know any of the other people.
Okay. Ms. Matthew, would you have any comments on that? Who this person is?
No, like I said, unfortunately, when we send out the mailers, we send it to the address, and this is what Canada Post provides us with. So I can't speak to this specific individual. Apologize. So.
And my second question to Mr. Neufeld, I'm not sure if you can answer this. The business was physically closed, but would you know if somebody was monitoring the mail coming in? Maybe answer that.
Yeah, I imagine. I don't know. I mean, I guess I never asked the question. All the properties today are in the same boat, and I know that in the past, and when I started working for them about a decade ago, we made it quite clear that these matters had to be dealt with, and they weren't answering them then. And I think they've had a good record since then. So that's as much as I know.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. That's all my questions.
Thank you. Mr. Moretsky, do you have any questions?
No, I do not.
Okay, thank you. Nor do I. So we will adjourn to discuss this matter. Thank you very much. We have discussed the matter and the city's request for non-cooperation. We are not allowing the request for non-cooperation. So Mr. Harling, please proceed with your presentation.
Madam Chair. Again, the file number is 223097. The roll number is 13060559000. Their address is 1376 Winnipeg Avenue West, and the owner is Computer Parts Limited. 2023 assessed value based on reference date of April 1st, 2021 is $218,000. Look below my brief, you'll see this is an industrial warehouse type property. The effective year built is 1958. The wall heights range from 12 to 14 feet. The land area is 5,633 square feet with a leasable area of 2,646 square feet, which gives us a land plan area of 2.13. If we go to page 2 of my brief, we've already spoken about the request for income information. There was a sale in 2018. However, this was a multi-role sale, so I'm not really putting any weight on this. And there are no subject property leases in place. If we go to page 3 of my brief, these are my rental comparables. They range from 2016 to 2022 or 2020 for lease start dates. The lease terms are 3 to 5 years. The leased areas range from 1,200 to 4,200 square feet. The wall heights range from 14 to 17 feet. The effective year bills range from 1959 to 1973. And the net rents range from $6 a square foot to $9.12 a square foot. If you go to page 4 of my brief, you'll see the income workup for the subject. Again, 2,646 square feet is a leasable area. We are applying a model rent of $6.41 a square foot, which gives us a potential rent of $16,961. We're allowing 6.5% for vacancy, 3% for non-recoverable expenses, and $3.85 a square foot to cost to cover vacancy at shortfall. This gives us a net operating income of $14,721, and we are applying a model cap rate of 6.75%, which gives us the estimated market value of $218,000. If you go to page 5 of my brief, you'll just see a further income value summary. Page 6 of my brief, this is just some of our cap rate evidence or information. So again, we're using a 6.75% cap. This falls within our range of the 20th to 80th percentile for properties for cap rates within the city of Winnipeg. And then looking at other published rates by CRB and Cushman & Wakefield, our 6.75 falls within the range that they have indicated as well. So page 7 of my brief is just some municipal assessment act excerpt information. Page 8 of my brief is just the subject map of the subject property. So you'll see on the Google map here where the property is located on Winnipeg Avenue, and some of the streets that are located close to it, such as it's just close to Notre Dame Avenue, as you can see, and then Weston on the left-hand side or east. And if we go to page 9 of my brief, you'll just see some photos of the subject property. So on the top of page 9, this is just a photo of the front view of the property. And then below on page 9 is just another photo from a different angle. If we go to page 10 of my brief, you'll just see the back of the building here. And then below on page 10, you'll just see an overhead view of the overall parcel and the building, the two buildings that are attached to the property. This continues on page 11. You'll just see another further view of the rear of the property just from a top view. And again, this is continued also on the bottom of page 11, just another view of the subject property. And then finally on page 12, this is just the parcel boundary and the current assessed value at $218,000. And the rest of my brief is just the income and expense manner information, which we had spoken to previously. And last thing on this page 18 and 19 is just some outside source information. That is our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Neufeld, do you have any questions for Mr. Harling?
Yes, I do. Page 4, was this all prepared by the model?
This is model derived, correct?
And the rents on page 3, were those your choices?
These would be in rents I picked to find out similar properties, yes, or comparable rents.
You have the zonings on each of these? I mean, I note that they're all in a particular area. I'm thinking are M2 zone, are they not?
I didn't check the zoning, but I believe that would be true. Yes, that'd be the case, yes.
And the subject is in R2, correct?
It is Res R2, correct, yes.
Oh, how would that play into your model? Did you not try to get the same zoning at least?
Like this property, like I said, this area, just looking at the zoning, there's a, you're right, there's a combination of M2. Or no, actually there is some M2 around here, but you're right, yes, I understand. There's M2 and there is some residential. So I believe this one has been zoned like this for quite some time. So, but you're right. Maybe going forward, this will be something we can change. But I don't dispute that yet. You're right. It's
what they call a legal non-conforming use.
that's exactly it. Yes, correct.
And if it goes dark, closed, or vacated for a period of time, they lose that legal non-conforming right, correct?
Yes, it would be changed to the main zoning, if you will. Yes.
They would have to comply with R2 at that point.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, legal non-conforming.
But you don't, the model doesn't deal with the concept of legal non-conforming, does it?
I can't speak to the specifics of that. I don't know the specifics of that. So, but you're right. It's a unique situation in the sense of, you're right, it's a legal non-conforming use, so it is kind of a unique situation. I disagree. So.
And you mentioned it was a multi-role sale. I'm just referring to your page 10. Are you aware that the other parcel on that sale was the lot immediately adjacent, as shown on your page 10?
Yes, I was aware of that. Yes.
Okay. So what would be wrong with looking at the sale for the entire parcel as a determinant of value? Is that not something then that should have been considered?
Well, again, it says it's a multi-role sale, obviously. I mean, typically we don't usually look at multi-role sales. I mean, there are situations we were, but no, I did not look into it in this case. No, so.
Those are my questions. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hutchings. Any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Moretsky?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Okay, nor do I. So, Mr. Neufeld, please proceed with your presentation.
I'm going to be real short here. The zoning, which is on pages 10 to 14, take you to page 13. At the time of sale, this is a contractor's establishment. It is not a legal use under R2. For that, you need C2 or M1, M2 zoning. Oh, sorry. Yes, yeah. You need industrial or commercial zoning. It's R2, and the land is R2. So when the contractor departs and it's vacant for a certain amount of time, you will not get approval to have that same use in. It has to be continuous use on the legal non-conforming. So if it will revert to R2 land, in which case the existing improvement has no value. It's demolition and land value. The purchase was for the two lots, this lot and the one next door. The total price was shown on page 4, 1380 and 1376 Winnipeg Avenue. The parcel details, this workup we had done below the green. That's our writing. The top part is from Sabre. It just shows that the two lots sold together for $170,000, and this is our breakdown based on land value on the two parcels.
What page are you on? I'm sorry.
Okay, 4.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Sorry for interrupting.
No, that's fine. What you see is the 3 columns, one being the land area, then the assessed value, and then the sale price allocation based on land value. So we have it at 123,000, which I think that's really the value that we look at, less the cost of demolition. It is certainly not a building worth keeping. If we must do it by the income approach, then on page 1 we put a rate of $4 on it and a cap rate of 8.25%, which is probably on the low side. It's a building that's legal non-conforming. It's waiting for demolition for another use, I think that demolition on 2,600 feet, given verbal evidence here, is probably going to be about $10 to $12 a foot. So that's about $30,000 plus the 94 value. If you look at the land value we had here of 123,000 less demolition, that puts us at what we have on the income approach at 94,000. And there's, do we not have beautiful pictures of the building? Yes, there it is on page 2. I think this is a future R2 development site for obviously for duplex property, and that's where the real value is that's my presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harling. Do you have any questions?
No, my questions were answered. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hutchings?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Neufeld, what is this building currently being used for?
The last use that I saw was the contractor had stayed on. But I haven't heard back from them to see if he's vacated. I know the intention was an R2 development site, further future residential use.
Okay, thank you. So the contractor is renting out or leasing out the property?
Give me 1 second here. I do have some information on this. It was a new property for them. I don't have that information now with me.
Okay, thank you. I'll just quickly to go through your page 4. You're showing the split and assigned value for the sale, and you're saying that the subject property is worth $46,500. Is that right? If it was land.
You know what? Reverse those numbers. I see the error there. The 1376 is the large parcel. 123, 1380 is the small one.
Okay. So
Yeah.
actually, the addresses are wrong. Swap the address.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And the actual lot size is 5633. Is that right?
That's correct.
Oh yeah. Okay. There we are. Okay. Okay. So you're saying land value would be 123,500?
Yeah, if it was clean and demolished.
Okay.
And it's an old brick building, so hard to say what that would cost to demo.
Okay. That's all my questions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moretsky.
Mr. Neufeld, this building is vacant right now?
I haven't been out there myself. I don't know.
You know when or what is the last date that you know somebody was renting this?
2019 was the last time I had checked.
And other than that, you don't have any information from the owner as to that situation?
What I have information from the owner is what I stated is that he bought it for the purpose of having a future development site, and that was his motivation on it. And no, I didn't spend an awful lot of time researching it. I think that was adequate when I looked at the zoning problem. That would be the future highest and best use was going to be as development land.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you. My questions have actually just all been answered. So is there a need for summary from either party?
I'm good, thank you.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. The next matter we will be dealing with is 325 Logan Avenue. Mr. Harling, please proceed when you are ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As I stated previously, this one has we have a non-compliance issue as well too, so I'll just quickly go through that. So again, the file number is 22-3802, and the roll number is 138-157-3600, and the address is 325 Logan. So just go to page 13, my brief. Again, this will be, won't go too much detail because we already went through it once. So this is the blank mailer that we sent out. Again, we sent out an initial mailer. This is the certified mailer. The address we're sending to is 869 Kildonan Drive, is which is the address we have on file. Page 14 and 15 and 16 are just a blank mailer. Page 17 is again the information we received from Canada Post. So this is the signature, and this is the address that we received, the signature we received. The signature name is the we have the Manitoba Limited, which is the same name, registered name as the owner. So again, this is the information that we have on file that we were provided for them. So that's my question, or that is my presentation on the non-compliance.
Thank you very much. Mr. Neufeld, do you have any questions?
Nope,
Sorry? Oh,
no questions.
oh, no questions. Okay, thank you. Mr. Hutchings?
No questions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Moretsky?
Yes, so you had mailed out the documents before the this one on June 9th?
Yeah, like I said, we send it out twice. We send out an initial mailer on April 15th, 2021, and then we send out a certified mailer if we don't receive a response from the initial mailer, and that was sent out June 9th. So this is the certified mailer, this one.
No further questions.
Thank you. I have no questions. So Mr. Neufeld, please proceed with your presentation.
Not much of a presentation. I see who signed it. I recognize the signature. And no dispute. I am asking Mr. Dick for his response. I haven't received it from him. That's all I got to say. Other than that, I find it ethically challenging to send out questionnaires during COVID. That's my position.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Harling, do you have any questions for Mr. Neufeld?
No, I have no questions on that. No, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hutchings?
No questions. Thank you.
Mr. Moretsky?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have no questions, so we will yes, discuss this matter. Mr. Kumar?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Welcome back. We have discussed the request for non-cooperation, and we are allowing the request for non-cooperation on this matter. So Mr. Neufeld, please proceed when you are ready.
I'm wondering if I could just ask for this to be confirmed then. I just found something I think I have to track down. Actually, I did find the submission, but I found it was lumped together with some previous years, and maybe I should be discussing this with the assessor rather than doing it now. As you know, I can't get a decision overturned on the penalty going backwards. So I think it'd be best if we just confirm this, and unless anyone objects.
Mr. Harling?
No, I have no objections. So.
And I'll just send this to him right now, just so he knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, the hearing, that's fine.
Okay, then. I guess we'll move on to the next matter. So the next matter on the docket is 447 Bannatyne Avenue. Right, Mr. Harling?
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
We're ready.
Thank you. The file number is 221867, and the address is roll number is 1306121500, and the address is 447 Bannatyne Avenue. As I had mentioned previously, all these properties on the docket have non-compliance issues, so I'll just again quickly go over this one quickly. We just go to page 13 again in my brief. This is the same similar situation as the previous ones. This is the blank mailer. We're sending the address to, or the mailer to 447 Bannatyne Avenue. The address, page 13, 14, 15, and 16 are just a blank mailer. And then again, on page 17 here is just the signature that we received for the property as when we sent this out. And again, this is like I said, this is what we provided by Canada Post. And the last time we received a mailer from this property was in 2017. So we haven't received in the last 3 years. And that's basically my presentation on non-compliance.
Thank you very much, Mr. Neufeld. Any questions?
Yes, on page 17. I'm just looking at the signature. It looks like it's Pat.
That's what it looks like for me too, yeah.
And the name is marked FD agent, and I've seen this before. What does FD agent mean?
I can't speak to what that specific is. As I said, I'm just going by this is the information that we were provided by Canada Post. I don't know the specifics of that, so unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Those are my questions. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hutchings.
No questions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Moretsky.
No questions.
Okay, nor do I have any. So, Mr. Neufeld, please proceed.
Yes, thank you. The property owners and operators are Jim and Jason Ferenc, father and son. This is their business. They make emblems, embroideries, or for sports teams and things like that in the shop. And of course, like everyone else, they were closed down during that period, but it wasn't a hardship for them because they don't do a lot of street business, but the street side was closed. So I asked them if they received this, and they have no record of it. And I don't know who FD agent is. I don't know what that means, but that's obviously not a person, an owner of the property, and that's all I know. The address is correct for the mailer, 447 Bannatyne, and it's on the title. But this is a small business. This is, I guess, what we would expect during COVID. A lot of them didn't get service, but I can't give you a story or tell you anything more about it other than what I know. And that's, they said they didn't get it. And it does appear to be a strange signature on this. That's all I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Mr. Harling, do you have any questions for Mr. Neufeld?
No, I have no questions. Thank you.
Mr. Hutchings?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Neufeld, any comments on the history of non-compliance?
No, because these are new clients for me. I only got involved with them on a supplemental from last year prior. So I think that they were that's as far back as I know them.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions.
Thank you. Mr. Moretsky, any questions?
No, I do not have any questions.
Thank you very much, nor do I. Okay, thank you. We will recess to discuss the matter. Thank you.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Welcome back. We have discussed the matter, and we will not be allowing the request for non-cooperation this morning. So on this matter, sorry, Mr. Harling, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The file number is 221867. The roll number is 1306121500. The address is 447 Bannatyne Avenue, and the owner is All Canadian Emblem Corporation. The 2023 assessed value based on a reference date of April 1st, 2021 is $1,035,000. Just looking at the property description information, property is the one building industrial warehouse. The effective and actual built is 1953. The wall heights are 13 feet. It is zoned M1 manufacturing light. The land area is 15,699 square feet, with a leasable area of 16,006 square feet, which gives us a land to plant area of 1.08. If we go to page 2 of my brief, we've already spoken about the income information. There are no subject sales or recent sales on the subject, and there are no subject property leases in place. If we go to page 3 of my brief, these are just some of my rent comparables. Now my rent comparables range from lease start dates from 2015 to 2020. The lease terms range from 3 to 5 years. Leasable areas range from 10,010 square feet to 15,019 square feet. The wall heights range from 14 feet to 18 feet. With effective year built range from 1956 to 1965. And with my net rents range from $6.95 a square foot to $8.78 a square foot. Go to page 4 of my brief, you'll see the income workup. Again, there's 16,006 square feet of leasable area. We are applying a model rent of $5.80 a square foot, which gives us a potential rent of $92,835. We're allowing 6.5% for vacancy, 3% for expenses, and $3.85 a square foot for cost for cover vacancy as shortfall. This gives us a net operating income of $80,191. And we are applying a model cap rate of 7.75%. This gives us an overall, again, estimated market value of $1,035,000. Page 5 of my brief is just the further breakdown of the income valuation summary. Go to page 6 of my brief. Again, we're using a 7.75% cap rate. This would be due to the fact of the size and the age of the building, wall heights. So I believe our cap rate is supported. And it's looking at the 28th percentile, our cap rate actually falls above that. And even looking at the other published rates, I believe our cap rate is a good cap rate for this particular property. Page 7 is just some municipal assessment active observed information. Go to page 8 of my brief, you'll just see the subject property map at the top. Again, this is located in 447 Bannatyne Avenue. And you can just see where it's relation to, close to William Avenue, Isabel Street, McDermott Avenue. So you can kind of just see where it's located in the city. The bottom of page 8, this is just a front photo of the subject property. Going to page 9, this is just another photo just from a different angle, just showing more of the building itself. Page 9 of my brief at the bottom, you'll just see again just an overview of the whole parcel of the subject property. This is continued on page 10, just showing different angles of the subject. Again, this is from a different angle from the top and the bottom. And page 11 is just another photo from the rear. And then finally, just on page 12, again, this is just the overall parcel outline and the current assessed value of $1,035,000. And page 13 through 17, we've already spoken to. The mail information, and then page 18, 19 are just some outside source information. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Neufeld. Do you have any questions for Mr. Harling?
Yes, same as before. This is page 4 is done by the model.
That is correct.
And you chose these rents on page 3.
These are the rents I chose, correct.
And the subject, how would you characterize the part of town that it's in? It's not quite West End. I'm just trying to think what the label is out there. Not Exchange either. Outside the Exchange.
Let me.
Central.
Yeah, I guess if you know what, I could actually. I'll just see what we classify as. Just if you want to give me 2 seconds here, just to give you. We have it as, well, we have it considered like West Alexander, so.
Okay, yeah, I think sometimes I hear the word central used as well.
Yeah.
Okay, now your comps though, I mean, 3 of these are St. James and one of them is Erin, which is West End. Do you consider them in the same style neighborhood?
Again, when I was trying to find comps, I was trying to find comparables of similar size and such, and attributes. So you're right. I did go a bit outside the location because I wasn't able to find comparables that are in the area. So that's yes, I did expand my comparison of comparables. Yes.
And the land plan area is rather on the low side, is it not?
Yeah, at 1.08. But like I said, as I was saying, I feel like that's why we. The cap rate reflects that based on the low land plan area, the wall height, the age. So those are the reasons for that. So, but.
Okay. Those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hutchings, do you have any questions?
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Moretsky?
I have no questions, Madam Chair.
I have no questions either. Thank you very much. Mr. Neufeld, please proceed with your presentation.
Thank you. Essentially, it's just a series of small adjustments in different areas that really reflect the quality of the nature of the building. Page 1 is the overview, and so there is a sort of a mezzanine level up front. It's a very small area, and you can see by the picture that's the part that fronts Bannatyne, and there is a little bit of parking at the rear, but it's obviously very low on its land. The page 2's got a picture of the front, and it's kind of, I don't know what word I would use. It is an interesting front, but the inside is vastly different. Page 5 are a series of pictures of the inside of it. Page, let's see, I'll just floor level. Page 5 is the top picture is the ground level. The bottom picture in page 5 is the upper level. And page 6, these pictures are both of the upper level. As you can see, it's not stylish office, it's storage. Page 7 is the lower level filing room, and the bottom picture, page 7, is their design room. Page 8 shows the another angle of that room, and then the bottom is the production area, and it's a large area. It was set up in the days when people did their own sewing. Page 9 is the ceiling, so it's got the old style ceiling tile and the exposed wiring. At some point, they did install sprinklers, and I think this is quite some time ago, and just you can see that they were added on later. Page 10 is again the production floor, and it is what it is. I found it interesting is on page 11, the top picture. These are the synchronized embroidery machines, and they would put down a piece of cloth under all of them, and they're synced out, and they would sew simultaneously. Oh, that's not done here anymore. This is obsolete equipment, so it's just taken up room. They still do a fair amount of custom sewing, but not large volume like this anymore. That would come from overseas. The roof, again, it's just an older building. Page bottom of page 11, and page 12 is the panel. It grew with the building and the business. Not quite up to a high standard. Page 12, staining, age-related staining. Don't know what that white stuff is on the pipe. Don't want to know. The bathroom, page 13. You know, for what they're using it for, it's fine, but this is not a high-quality building. It didn't have to look very hard to find pictures like this. The whole building's like this. Now, the outside of the building is probably an even bigger problem because they've been subject to a lot of vandalism. And you can see on page 14, the buildings along the side street, they've just ended up boarding them up because they keep getting smashed. That's just the part of town they're in. So we had looked at a rent of $5, and we had a number of rents on our page 3, and these are from all around the city. And you know, in terms of a closest comparable, the issue with this part of the city is that we don't see a lot of rents in this part of the city. It's not a investment neighborhood. It's typically owner occupied. So like the assessor, there was some difficulty in finding rents in the immediate area. I know the one closer to the bottom at 11 Mod is one of the few, but you know, it's quite dated. I know the rent hasn't changed. And Higgins is probably similar in style, location, smaller building. And then we have the one on Isabel, 177 Isabel. That incidentally, when it's marked on the right side COW, that meant that it was sourced from the city of Winnipeg from previous appeals. But as far as new rents go, there's really nothing out there that's comparable. The $5 is just at the low end of the range of typical construction typical buildings. And the vacancy is based on a mix of what we do is try to blend in the vacancy rates from the Johnson report, which is shown on page 15. So we have the top one is Central Region at 11.3%. This is where Johnson puts this, single tenant investment industrial. Now, a note on the concept of it being post-reference or not, it is not. All these vacancy rates were collected prior to January of 2021. They were published in June of 2021. But that is not post-reference. That's the time lag between collecting the data and publishing it. So 11.3 would be Central, and the overall rate is 6.2 for single tenant in industrial. We just averaged those two out, and we came up to 8.75%. One of the reasons is that the Central, although it is higher, has a smaller population of rental properties, so it's not consistent. You can see when you look at Central, one year it's 5%, next year it's 11%, another year it's 20%. So that's just an indication of the low sample size. So we stabilized it with the overall Winnipeg vacancy rates. Other than that, the non-recoverables and structural reserve, we're using 5% and 2%. And our data is on page 44. These are non-recoverable rates from investment buildings in Winnipeg, all styles, industrial, retail, and office. These are our managed properties. So I have personally reviewed all these non-recoverable costs. They're averaging 9.81%. I'm only up to the 2025. I have more to add. But the point on the non-recoverables, I know you've been hearing this for the last several years. The concept of deciding what's a non-recoverable or not is not one that an appraiser makes. It's not one that an assessor makes. It's what the market dictates. And the market being professionals who manage properties and invest in properties. It's very simple. It's all about the money. And we're following the money here. These are costs, these are incurred, therefore they must be taken into account. And we as appraisers or the assessor are merely reporters, not creators of what is market practice. It's simple, follow the money. So that's why we insist on the non-recoverables, because they come off the statements. Our cap rate is 8.5%, and our reasons are detailed on page 2. Anybody who compares this to a published standard by a real estate firm would be mistaken. This is not an investment property typical that investors are flocking to buy. The location is inferior. The lack of parking. The design and layout of the building, as I said, that's really interesting second floor office, but absolutely obsolete. Age of construction and condition are low, and that's my presentation. And thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Harling, do you have any questions for Mr. Neufeld?
Just curious, so the pictures, like which ones would be the upper area? Is it page on page 5 and?
Oh yeah. Page 5 bottom, that's the view over you can see the background of the roof of the other part. That's the president's office. And page 6 bottom is, and I think, I'm not sure about the top picture. I think both of these in page 6, yeah, are upper area. These are the small private offices. And the rest of the pictures are all lower area.
And yeah, I guess I think you mentioned this too. This is owner occupied, obviously, correct? Or
Yes.
okay. I think those are the only 2 questions I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hutchings. Any questions from Mr. Neufeld?
No questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moretsky.
Yes, so is this building currently owner occupied?
Yes, it has been for quite some time.
So they've had this business in there for 20 years or so? Or?
Yeah, I mean, the title is dated from 2000, but that was an internal transfer. So I think the family's owned it well over 22 years.
Okay. So the vacancy, you're saying, should be higher than what the city has in that area based on your comparables or your study, correct?
Yes, that's just a methodology that we employ, whether it's appraisals or tax appeals. It's look at the local area and then look at the city area and take a look at the sample size. My book is over there, but I know the central sample size is just small. Vacancies are high. And so you would go upwards from the citywide range.
And the cap rate, is that based, your 8.75 is based on the fact that it is low quality?
Yeah, so it's, I think there's 4 or 5 main factors: the quality, parking, lack of parking, the location, were the major issues. It's not going to be a desirable investment property.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you. I have no questions either. Is there a need for summary from either party?
I'm good. No, I'm good. Thank you.
No, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. The next matter on the docket this morning is, 50 Isabel Street. Mr. Harling, please proceed when you are ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The file number is 223820, and the address is 50 Isabel Street. As I stated previously, there's another preliminary matter with this property, no compliance, so I'll just quickly go through that. If we go to page 13 of my brief, this is the same as the other properties. It's the blank mailer we sent out. Again, we sent out the initial, this is the certified mailer. We are currently sending to 50 Isabel Street, which is the location of the subject property. It's where we send all the other mail, whether it be tax bills and such. Page 14, 15, 16 are just a blank for the blank mailers. And then if we go to page 17, this is the information we received from Canada Post and the signature we have on file. The last time we haven't received 2018, 19, 20, so we haven't received mail for the last 3 years. Basically that's the presentation on the non-compliance.
Thank you very much, Mr. Neufeld. Do you have any questions on this issue?
Yeah, sorry, I missed the file number again here. I just had
22-3820.
And I'm just wondering, so this was sent to 50 Isabel Street?
That's what we have in file, correct?
And do you know the address on the title?
I do not have the address.
And the same question as before, signed by FD agent. You know who, you don't know, you haven't discovered in the last 20 minutes who FD agent is?
No, as I said, I apologize. Yeah, it's kind of the same situation here. Like, I mean, it's, you're right. We just go by what we're provided from Canada Post, unfortunately. Yeah, so.
All right, those are my questions, and I did send in a copy of the title and 2 cases on this matter.
Okay. Thank you for your questions. Mr. Hutchings, do you have any questions for Mr. Harley?
No questions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Moretsky, any questions for Mr. Harley?
I have no questions.
Okay, thank you, nor do I. So Mr. Neufeld, could you please proceed with your presentation on the non-cooperation?
Thank you. As I said, I just emailed in my response to it, and it was 3 documents. One is the title, and then the other 2 were case law. Now, this is a legal issue on service, and I'm not a lawyer, and I have been coached by Mr. Mercury. Don't blame him for anything, but this is what he is away, and this is what he advised me to send in on this. The title, if you've received it yet.
We do not, because we do not receive the emails like that.
Yeah, no, I know it was the secretary would have it, and
I haven't got that either, Mr. Neufeld.
oh, okay.
Mr. Neufeld, perhaps you could just advise us verbally
Sure.
what the address service is on title, because I believe that is
Yes, the address on title for service is just had it here. Oh, here we go. Number 3. It's 623 Ferry Road, Winnipeg. And I did. Oh, I got my response from the board at my that they received it. Mr. Mercury told me to send in these 2 cases that I guess I was also somewhat involved with on the question of the service, and where there's a title, it should go to that address. So again, I'm not making legal argument. I just relay the legal argument. And I did speak to the owner on this, and again, he said he was closed during COVID. He has no knowledge of it, but in this case, there was the additional issue of it was sent to the wrong address.
Thank you very much. Mr. Harling, do you have any questions for Mr. Neufeld?
Yeah, I do have a question. I was just looking at the actual application form, and under registered owner, the 60114 for Manitoba Limited, which is Mr. It says your Rick Schoen owner, they put under the mailing address 50 Isabel Street though. So I'm just wondering why they would, if that's, how come they would use 50 Isabel Street in that case then? I'm just curious. Or
I don't have that document in front of me.
Oh, okay.
And I think that if you'd wished to put it forward, it would have been good that we could, then I could have reviewed it and asked him.
Okay, well, again, I'm just speaking to this obviously because I'm just looking at the application form.
Yeah.
Now, so. Okay, that's all the questions I have then.
Thank you. Mr. Hutchings, any questions for Mr. Neufeld?
No questions. Thank you.
Mr. Moretsky?
No questions, thank you.
Okay, nor do I. So we will adjourn briefly to review this request. Thank you.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Welcome back. The board has discussed the request for non-cooperation on this matter, and we are not allowing the request for non-cooperation. So Mr. Harling, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. File number is 22-3820. The roll number is 130601200000. The address is 50 Isabel Street, and the owner is 6011144 Manitoba Limited. The 2023 assessed value based on a record date of April 1st, 2021 is $786,000. Before I continue with my brief, I do have a recommendation actually on this property. So again, we're at $786,000, and my recommendation is actually to reduce the value to $670,000. Now, this is based on, if you actually go to page 11 of my brief, there's a photo of the subject property. And if you look just above the property where it says 786, you'll see a value of $116,000 above it. Now, this piece of land is just adjacent to the property, and it's owned by the same owner. and this piece of land essentially is being used for the parking for the property. So without that, there's pretty much no parking for this property. So being mindful of that, I'm deducting that land value from the building value, because I said that it's used for, it's needed for the parking of the building. So that's essentially what my recommendation is based on.
Thank you. Mr. Neufeld?
Sorry, what was it, 670?
670.
I'm stunned. No, I'm not. I'm just trying to figure out. I don't have a ability to ask the owner for his information or his plan on this. I think for now, if it's okay with the assessor, we'll accept the recommendation, but subject to if the owner has any issues with it. He will, if he wants me to appeal, then I will. But for today, if that's okay, no promises.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I understand. Yeah. So.
Okay.
So that was a recommendation to reduce to, was that 670,000?
That is correct.
Okay. And okay, Mr. Neufeld is accepting rec. Okay, thank you. All right, we will move on to the last matter on the docket this morning, which is 943 Notre Dame Avenue.
Okay.
Give me 1 second to pull it up. There we go. Okay, Mr. Harling, please proceed when you're ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The file number is 22-3093, and the address is 943 Notre Dame Avenue. Again, this is the last property here. As I spoke previously, there's a final issue of non-compliance in this one, so I'll just quickly go through the matter on this property. So again, if we go to page 14 of my brief, again, this is the other property. This is just the blank mailer with the certified mailing being sent out. The current address we're sending it to 620 King Edward Street, where we send all the other documents, just tax bills, assessment notices, and such. So okay, yeah, this continues to page 17, which is for the blank mailer, and then if we go to page 18, this is just the again the signature and the information we provide by Canada Post. Just to speed things up a little bit, this was the same situation as in the first property. So as you can see, it's the same name as in the first property. And again, for this one, we haven't received 2019 or 2020. And again, this is the information we provided. So that's my presentation on the non-compliance.
Thank you very much. Mr. Neufeld, any questions?
No, I agree with the assessor. It's the same issue as the last one. So I guess if we assume, or wait, my question would be to the board, can we just assume the previous one that we heard on 1376 Winnipeg, questions asked and answered, can carry forward to this property?
We will still have to adjourn briefly to.
No, I understand, but like I'd ask the question of the rest of it. So instead of going through it all over again, we just trust our memory that I asked these questions already. Unless you want me to go through it.
I've made notes, so.
Okay, good, thanks.
That's okay, but I'll just check if Mr. Hutchings has any questions for the assessor.
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Moretsky?
No questions.
Okay, nor do I. And Mr. Neufeld, do you have any additional comments?
No, it's the same situation. It's the same mailer. It's the same signatures. It's the same issues as the 1376 Winnipeg.
Okay, so Mr. Harling, do you have any questions at this point for Mr. Neufeld about this?
No, I believe I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Hutchings?
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Moretsky?
No questions.
Okay, nor do I. So we will just adjourn briefly to make a decision. Okay, thank you very much. Welcome back. The board members have met and discussed the request for non-cooperation on this matter, and we are not allowing the request for non-cooperation. So Mr. Harling, please proceed with your presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The file number is 22-3093. The roll number is 13060295500. The address is 943 Notre Dame Avenue, and the owner is Computer Plus Limited. The 2023 assessed value based on the reference date of April 1st, 2021 is $731,000. If you look at below page 1, you'll just see this is a parcel used as an industrial warehouse. They're a 1 to 2 story building. The actual year builds range from 1952 to 1959, with an effective year built of overall effective year built of 1958. The wall heights range from 9 to 15 feet in wall height. The zoning is C2 commercial or community. The land area is 23,558 square feet, with a leasable area of 10,593 square feet, which gives us a land to plan area of 2.45. If we go to page 2 of my brief, we've already spoken to the request for income information. There are no recent sales on this property, and there are no subject property leases in place. Now if we go to page 3 of my brief, these are some of my rent comparables. They range from 2016 to 2020. The lease terms range from 3 to 6 years. The leasable areas range from 8,000 square feet to 15,000 square feet. Wall heights range from 14 to 18 feet. Effective year builds range from 1956 to 1969. And the net rents range from $5.75 a square foot to $7.31 a square foot. I will also note these comparables are actually similar to one of the other properties we spoke to, and I had to branch out a bit because this property is in the similar areas. One of the properties kind of would be considered in the West Alexander Central area. So my comparables I wanted to do there have been slightly further away, but they're not, they're still within the vicinity. So. Now if we go to page 4 of my brief, you'll see we have the total leasable area of 10,593 square feet. So we have the 2 rents and we're using a blended rent of $5.94 a square foot. This gives us a potential rent of $62,982. We're applying 6.5% for vacancy, 3% for non-controllable expenses, and $3.85 a square foot for shortfall or cost to cover vacancy, which gives us a net operating income of $54,470. And we're applying an overall capitalization rate of 7.45%, which gives us an estimated value of $731,000. Going to page 5 of my brief, this is another breakdown of the income valuation summary. Page 6 of my brief, just the cap rate information. Again, 7.45 cap rate. 7.45 cap rate was applied. I believe falls within the range of our 20 to 80% of what we see for properties within the city of Winnipeg, as well as from CRB, Cushing, Wakefield, other published rates in the market. I believe our cap rate is supported. Page 7 of my brief, just the municipal assessment act information. Now, if we continue to page 8 of my brief, you'll see the subject map of the subject property. So again, this is just located on Notre Dame Avenue. As you can see where it's located with the little red dot. At the bottom of page 8, you'll just see one photo of the subject property from the very, I believe this is the west side of the property. Going to page 9, you'll just see some further photos at the top, in the middle, and the bottom, just different angles of the property to show the building itself. Going to page 10 of my brief, you'll see the overall parcel view or the overall outline of the subject, the land area. And then going to page 10, you'll just see another photo of the subject property, just in the relation to where it's situated on the piece of land. This is continuing on page 11, just a different angle of the subject property from kind of the side and the back. Going to page 12, again, just another photo of the subject property from just a different angle to show the overview of the property. And then finally, page 13, you'll just see another photo, and then at the bottom, the parcel boundary and the current assessed value of $731,000. And page again 14 through 18 we've spoken to already, just the income expense scenario information. And then page 19 and 20 are just some outside source information. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Neufeld, do you have any questions for Mr. Harling?
Yes, again, I guess we can assume then the same things, that this is done by the model on page 4.
That is correct.
The ceiling height in the subject varies. You've got 9 to 15 feet. So that would that be considered inferior to your comparables, which range from 14 to 18 feet?
Well, I believe the reason for the lower wall height, I believe I mean, again, you may be able to know this better than me because I haven't inspected the property, but I believe there's some office space. Maybe that's why the lower wall height for the 9 foot. But if we're looking at the 15 feet, I believe it's supported there. But you're right. I mean, as I said, I don't know the specifics of that. But yes, there is a range of 9 to 15. I don't know. I don't have the exact area of the 9 feet to a wall height, so I'd have to take a quick peek just to confirm that. But yes.
Okay, on your page 9, you've got a sign up front. So you know the date that this picture was taken?
I apologize. I don't have the exact date on this. I feel it would be fairly recently, though.
Okay, and it says 900 square feet, correct?
That's what they say in the photo there, correct?
And you've got a dimension of 10,593, correct?
That's correct.
So it appears that some of the space, I'm assuming that this is for a full lease, that their agent has indicated that it's not leasable.
Well, as I said, if you look on page 4 of my brief, you'll see we have the standard finish, and then we have a bit of a small mezzanine space, if you will. So that's where the difference would be in the area. So, and again,
Okay, so no, but my question is that if assuming that this was for an agent's description of what it is leasable area, that it would differ from what the city is saying is leasable area.
what they're indicating is would be slightly different than ours, correct? Yes.
Okay. And did you have a chance to look through? You did mention that you had some historical income and expense returns. And I'm just wondering if you had the opportunity to review them.
I maybe did initially. I haven't reviewed them recently, no. So I could easily pull them up though if I wanted to.
Okay, well, no, I was just, if it's not in your evidence, it's not in your evidence, it's fine. Those are my questions, thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hutchings. Do you have any questions for Mr. Harwood?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moretsky.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Nor do I. Mr. Neufeld, please proceed with your presentation when you're ready.
Yes, thank you. So we have, just wanted to check something here. We're using a different area, and it's the main floor area, and that's based on market standards that the upper level was designed at a time. It's a low ceilinged amount, and also I know that, and I haven't submitted this in evidence, but the income and expense returns have indicated that 9,634 is the leasable area. So the agent who's got it listed says, in this case, 9,900 that they put on their sign, and but in any event, it is not 10,600 leasable. The area actually that I think is under dispute is not the upper area; it's the lean-to on the side, and the assessor on his page 9, and I've got that on my page 2. This is a lean-to addition that has very little value to it. It does have heat in it, but it's not the same as the rest of the building. The main building is a masonry construction, and this is just a wooden lean-to on the side of it. But the point is that the owner has relied on 9,634, and if maybe I shouldn't have stopped the assessor from volunteering to read the old form to confirm that, but I do have it in front of me. The lease on that building expired October 31st, 2019. And from that time until I think it was late 2021, early 22, the building sat empty. And that's the period when the signs were up to advertise it for lease. Now there is a tenant in there right now, post reference, but the rent we're using was the last tenant before the vacancy, and their lease was started in November 2016 to October 2019, and the numbers are shown on our page 1. It was a gross lease. 89,555 is the gross income, expenses 58,985 for a net of 44,374. And incidentally, we did modify the owner's statement. He had a much lower NOI, but we changed some of his expenses and stabilized them. In that there was a few that appeared on the high side. He actually had 50. Yeah, he had the number as indicated, 58,985 for expenses, but that would have equaled 30,570 for NOI, but we changed that to 44,374. Or wait, 45,181. There's some higher than typical management and supply expenses. So these are the actual rents that it was generating. Vacancy, again, it's the same story as before. I was just reading my Johnson report to double check something. This, I think, is still characterized as central. It looks like the cutoff for West End for the Johnson report, not for the city, it is at McPhillips. And so this is east of McPhillips. But again, that the sample size, I dug it up, is fairly small. It's 1.8 million square feet in central versus a sample size of citywide of 29 million. So it's that's why we wouldn't rely on the 11.3. We're stabilizing it with the city vacancy rate at 6.2. Other than that, typical. Now here's something where I think we erred on, because we're using a gross lease. We have taken into account the non-recoverables, so we shouldn't have included these on a gross lease. You're looking at the bottom line, and you're not making that distinction between recoverables and non-recoverables. So that number, our NOI should be higher than this. That value should not be there at 2,061. And also I noted that in the expense side that I wouldn't put the structural reserve in either, because there were the repairs are always ongoing on this building, and it wouldn't be reasonable. So I just wanted to modify my NOI to add those back into the income. So my new NOI is 34,743 plus, okay, sorry, 37,629. And with the same cap rate, comes to a value of 485,535, rounded to 486,000. Like I said, that's a theoretical error there on whoever prepared this. So it should show higher. Then the rents, like I said, we did use the actual from before the vacancy, and we do have a number of rents on page 3, again from all different parts of the city in that medium-sized area. And I think the building was getting its return. The outside was reclad. That's not what it looks like underneath the cladding. It's an old brick building from the 50s. If anyone remembers, it was Dell's Electric in there for the longest time. And then Batista bought it after Dell's relocated, and he's had it as a revenue building. We have not taken into account the long period of vacancy, but I think that the value at that level indicates that we had it in mind with the low rent, that the low vacancy. I think arguably the rent could be higher, but then we'd have to look at a higher vacancy for the actual experience it had prior to April 1st, 2021. So we'll leave that as it is. Cap rate, again, page 2. It's not an investment building, not a good one anyway. It is deficient in location. Not saying Notre Dame's a bad street, but people don't want to rent there. The layout is kind of a rambling building, the way it works, and it has 3 distinct spaces, the 2-story office portion, the lean-to on the side, and then the warehouse portion. So it's not all one big clean space. I mean, these are just small issues that we're doing, but I think it's also, though, the design. If you have an industrial building on a street where dominated by, I guess we'd call small retail, so it does not conform to the street, so it's a tougher lease. I think that if someone had the capital, they'd probably want to go multi-tenant in here, but that would take some money to do, because you'd have to demise it and put in your services. But that would be the optimal, would be that. So the quality and condition, I don't remember. I guess they didn't put in the inside pictures. I've been in their new. Oh, they are there. Okay, page 5. So that's what it looks like on the inside. It's not, a great looking building. You can see it's a wood truss. The walls are, exterior walls are masonry, but the truss and deck are wood. I think that's the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Harling, do you have questions for Mr. Neufeld?
A couple of ones here. So I just noticed on the front page, again, I know you said this is predominantly retail, so I guess you classify it as used as a retail warehouse. So is there like actual, is it just entirely warehouse space, or is there actually a retail space in here at all by any chance or something? Or
well, I was thinking of the old user Dell's Electric, so that they had a walk-in counter where you could buy any unusual electrical wiring piece that you couldn't find anywhere else. And I think that was the target market, is to try to have a retail warehouse. I think it's designed that way.
And so, like I said, I know there's so like obviously I know the tenant went vacant and they left in 2019. Like I know you said obviously there's post-reference tenant in there now, but so it was like just from like 2020 to 21 they were vacant, just like a 1-year vacancy, I guess, roughly, or
no, as of the time we filed the appeal, which was June of this year, they had just secured their tenant, or just prior to that. I remember talking to them about it, about the condition of it, and they had got one in.
Yeah, I think those are the only 2 questions I have then. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hutchings, do you have any questions for Mr. Neufeld?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Neufeld, you pointed out the assessor's square footage was overestimated according to that leasing sign. In your workup on page 1, you're using less than 9,900 square feet. Could you reconcile that, please?
Yes. Am I allowed to send this in to answer the question? This was the workup from the last tenant, and it was a mailer.
No, that's okay. We've seen evidence from both sides about the sign being there, and I'm wondering if you agree with the leasing agent or not.
Well, from my take on it, I think what he's doing is he's counted it differently than the owner did. The owner discounted the second floor. It looks like the leasing agent discounted the lean-to. I think that's what he did. So the
Okay.
numbers are slightly different.
Okay.
But he is they are. I mean, they do follow standards. That's a Shindico sign, right?
I'm not sure, but that's okay. That answers my question. My second question quickly is on page 2, your photos of the left and right side of the building. I guess there appears to be 2 entrances. One is in blue at the bottom, one is in, I'll call it red, or I'm colorblind, but
Yeah.
separate units here, or?
No, it was separate entrances for the it's one unit. I guess they had originally designed to have a separate entrance for that small office section, and I believe the entrance for when it was Dell's was, I remember going in on this corner one here where the red is. Yeah.
Okay. And my last question is, this particular role doesn't include the parking lots on the east and west side of the subject property. Is that right?
It actually includes the land on both sides. Yes.
Okay.
So,
that's all my questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Moretsky. Do you have any questions for Mr. Neufeld?
No, I do not.
Okay, nor do I. Thank you. Is there a need for summary from either party?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Mr. Neufeld?
I just something stupid to say. I'm got a splitting Blue Bomber headache right now. And I'm glad I made it through the hearing.
Good job. Yes, you're done. So
Okay.
I'd like to just say that we have heard all the items scheduled and this hearing is now adjourned. Thank you, everybody, and I hope you have a nice day.